Back in the 2000s, it was like Christmas movies were coming out every other week. You had mega hits like Elf, Jim Carrey was the Grinch, and a masterpiece of a movie realized that if you switch the N in Santa, you got Satan. Welcome to our discussion of Santa's Sleigh, a 2005 horror comedy where Satan's son, Santa Claus, gets revenge for being tricked into 1,000 years of having to give presents to good children.
It's time for Spooky of the Week! And we're back for the final time this month.
This is the last one.
This season of Spooky of the Week.
Say goodbye to Christmas.
It is finally that time. We've made it. We've watched 4 movies.
All under the Christmas horror banner.
Yep.
This is the last one, which is Keegan's because he picked the theme last time, and so we're kind of keeping it in.
And you were all waiting.
Moving people up.
Kevin, were they wearing the exact same clothes last week?
We filmed on the same day, you traitors.
You know what?
Isn't it a little...
I
mean, it was so long ago
shirt,
for me.
It was only a week ago, but I feel like that...
Flash all the shirts I've worn on the show. I only wear a lot of shirts. I've got shirts. I've got
just feel
2 at
like-
least.
Are you guys living out of your car or
Do you just
something?
want me to take my shirt off? Because I can just do that.
I'm just confused.
Don't tempt him, he will.
Keegan's recommendation, we are talking about the 2005-ish film Santa's Sleigh.
We've been ramping up the Christmas, like a notch each time, like slowly cranking up more and more Christmas. And this is the Christmas finale.
Yeah, this
The
is
most
the
Christmassy finale.
This is the Christmas explosion.
100% Christmas, 100% horror. Well,
A little bit of Hanukkah.
a little bit of Hanukkah. A little bit of Hanukkah.
According to the Book of Claus, Santa, Satan's only son, lost a bet and was forced to spread Christmas cheer. But now, all bets are off.
Santa?
Yes, there is a Santa Claus.
So I watched Santa's Sleigh a couple of years ago, actually. I want to say it was like 2 years ago.
Oh, you'd seen it already.
Yeah, I've seen it already. Kevin fucking saw Inside already.
No, I'm not saying it's a
Oh.
problem. I'm just surprised. I thought you hadn't seen it.
Oh, no,
I thought you
I-
went in blind.
No. I had watched
This
it
is
before.
a genuine Keegan recommendation.
This was a real recommendation. I think I might have recommended this to some of you before. I don't remember.
I think you had recommended.
You mentioned it before.
I
Yeah.
guarantee you have. I don't remember.
Anyways, so I watched it. I had a blast watching it, and so when I heard the theme was Christmas, I was like, "Oh, I already got it
was it?
loaded in the chamber."
Yeah.
You were pretty fast to that when we said Christmas horror. It was immediately.
I picked the theme, and I think you had yours faster than I did.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I think Christmas horror movie, I think Santa's Sleigh.
That is the first thing he thinks of.
Christmas horror, yes.
There's so many other ones.
Like,
Yeah, and
like
then-
name 6.
Name 6.
Do you want to do a brief plot overview?
Brief plot is Santa Claus is the son of Satan and was tricked 1,000 years ago by an angel to be nice, and now he has ended his side of the bargain, and so he can go around and kill people.
So he does.
Specifically,
does.
Christmas Day was turned into
Christmas Day.
It turned
cheerful
from
holiday.
Santa Claus's day of killing into the day he had to give gifts.
Yes.
But he's no longer bound, and so he is trained to get revenge on the world.
on everybody that ever asked him for any.
What I
gifts.
like about this concept for the movie is that the writers were probably just like, Santa's pretty close to Satan.
Yeah, only 2 letters, switch them around.
Just
There you
switch them
go.
around.
There you go.
They're like, dude, the opening title has to do that.
Yeah.
And they literally do.
And then, yeah, that's how it ends up happening. Keegan, I thought when he recommended it to us that it was going to be a lot worse than it ended up being. I heard Santa's
I concur.
Sleigh,
Same.
and immediately I was like, all right, this is going to be one that I'm going to dread. It's going to be Santa running around killing people, and it's going to be embarrassing the entire way through. I thought it was going to be more of like a boring Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be
just
like that.
Silent Night, Deadly Night.
So deadly night, yeah.
And then the first scene happens, and it's such a perfect opening scene to that movie. You immediately know what you're going to get. It's arguably the funniest scene in the entire movie.
James Caan's there.
James Caan. Well, and what's so great is this was just
uncredited.
like 2 years.
Uncredited, yeah.
This is just like 2 years after he was in Elf, so it's like a really big.
They were like, we need to get
Christmas movie?
someone,
When
yeah,
this movie
who
come
was
out?
in a Christmas movie.
2005.
This came out in 2005?
Yeah.
Doesn't look like a 2005 movie.
Yeah. Well.
It looks like a 95 movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another theme of this year's Spooky of the Week is movies
thought for
that
sure
look
came
like
out
they
in the 90s.
came out 20 years before they did.
Yeah.
2005?
2005?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Yeah, he's there, and I didn't look up who was going to be in it, so I see that.
Yeah, me
he-
neither.
I saw that he was there, and I was like, oh, he's going to be a reoccurring character, surely, because
Well,
he's
it's
such
James
a,
Caan.
Because it's James Caan.
Yeah, what are you going to kill? I never in a million years expected they would just murder him in the first scene.
That's what the audience. That's what the filmmakers wanted to do.
Yeah.
They wanted that for the audience.
Well, like all the people in that first scene, like they were like cameo people. 'Cause
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
all, they're all
Fran
like
Dresser's
Fran
there.
Dresser's in it.
There's
Yeah.
that one comedian guy I've seen in a few things.
Yeah.
He's
yeah.
like he's in the that SNL sketch with Jim Carrey and Will Ferrell where they're doing the Night at the Roxbury thing.
That opening scene hooked me in, and I was like, regardless of how the rest of the movie went, I was just completely in on the movie from that point on.
But I've been good this year.
But I've been good. And that actress is in a bunch of stuff too.
It opens with them being just totally shitty, like they're being thankful for being rich.
Dear Lord, thank you for the bountiful food that you've provided for us, and that our loving family can be together this Christmas. Also, thank you for not making us poor or Samoan. Thank you for Mexican pharmaceuticals, the latest M-Class, and that those that are less fortunate work harder.
We're gonna do this. This is gonna happen in 2005.
Once they started like being like really
Really
big
overt.
assholes, I was like, they're just all gonna get killed.
They're just gonna get killed immediately. I was like, is this what the whole
They're
movie
not
is going
paying
to be?
James Caan anymore.
Yeah.
He was
And
here
then-
for this scene.
They have Santa being played by former wrestler Bill Goldberg, who I'm not familiar with wrestling.
He's
but
enormous.
He is a massive dude, and
yeah.
I also think he is fucking hilarious.
My stocking.
Santa?
Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus.
He's so funny as evil big demon Santa in this movie.
he is having so much fun playing
yeah.
that role, and
He-
it comes
he
across.
It is so great. His voice is like this gravelly, like caveman-esque growl, and every single line he delivers is just so perfectly campy, over the top,
He
but
gets
also
it.
just
He
like
gets the joke.
like fun and believable at the same time.
Yeah.
And he kills like indiscriminately. It's like I don't care if you're good or bad. Like it's like I'm gonna kill people that are horrible people. I'm gonna kill people that are good people too.
Yeah.
This
He
also
just
has,
likes killing people.
This also has, if I'm not mistaken, the highest of Spooky of the Week this year. I think it's the highest body count.
Oh,
of any movie,
100%.
Oh, for this year.
I think it's like, and honestly, it's higher than most slasher films. It's like 40 people die in this movie, or something like that. It's like
like a
ridiculous.
Sam Peckinpah movie. Everyone's dead.
It's absurd.
He kills off of so many people. Yes.
Just in that opening scene alone, I think more people get killed in that movie than most Friday the 13th movies.
Kills
Well, the
like
whole
6
family.
people.
Yeah,
the
and
whole
each
strip
one of the
club.
kills is great. Like
And each kill is
that
great.
first scene is so perfect because there's not a lazy kill in that scene.
Like that
it-
she faints and just gets impaled.
It's like
That was just a freebie.
did stabbing James Caan through the hands with the
through the
forks or
hands,
whatever.
and he
the-
tries to get, he tries to get it off with his mouth.
I saw that and I was like, that's a great joke.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
What else would you
dude.
do?
Yeah, you're like. I saw James Caan and I was like, this can't. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, this officially cannot be complete trash.
Yeah.
Like James Caan put his name on it.
From
He didn't though. He took his name off.
Well, yeah, he didn't put his name on it. But then all these other actors too that I would recognize popped up and I'd be like, hey, that's that guy. And I was like, they
Mr.
wouldn't
F.
be in complete trash movie.
Mr. F.
But I think that was bolstered coming from the Christmas tapes because it's like we watched such a horribly
Honestly,
unprofessional movie.
anything I would have watched after the Christmas tapes, I would have liked.
Well, I think what it was is Keegan recommended it.
Yeah, that's
So-
true.
So I was like, well, we'll see. We'll see.
I watched them both the same day, and for me, it was like, oh my god, this is like, did this movie have $200 billion behind it? Like, just they're doing stuff like there's lights on, and there's a tripod that they had, and I'm
It
like,
was refre- it
there
was
are,
legit
like, composed
refreshing
shots.
after
Yeah.
the Christmas tapes, like watching a movie that's a movie. I
I-
was like, oh, this is a shot.
It is night and day.
yes.
you can tell the difference that this is a professional cast, this is a professional crew. They know what they're doing. They're making the movie. The actors are doing their jobs.
Everyone's in on the bit too. Like everyone knows that okay, this is what the movie's going to be. This is the kind of jokes that it's going to be in.
Very campy.
Yeah, very campy.
I watched it a couple years ago and I had a blast. I remember every kill being a fun kill. I remember it just having a lot of energy, a lot of passion, and just having a great experience watching it. So that's why I suggested it and recommended it. There's all these fun little side characters. Like I love the priest.
Yep.
I love the Native American guy in the gun club. It's such a minor little bit where he's joking. He's like, yeah, I got this from Joe or whatever his name was, where the Indian guy's name. And he's like, it cost me a long... Because he won it from a cigarette, keeping like the tops of the cigarettes or whatever. He did a mail-in from so buying so many cigarettes. It's like some minor background joke that I'm like, you didn't need to do all this work for that.
Yeah. There's like weird setups with all that stuff too. Like the girl buying him the gun toy for Christmas, and I was like, oh, the payoff's gonna be that that's actually also a real gun. Like it's a Transformers bit where like it transforms from a real gun to a toy. Like that's the bit that I thought they were gonna do. They don't end up doing that. It just ends up being a setup for the dad being a gun nut.
It does have a small payoff though, because she goes, "Oh, I got it for you because I know you said you always wanted a Transformer and you wanted Grayskull, Castle Grayskull, and all that stuff." He's like, "Oh, I did," and then when Santa reads the letter, he said he wanted the baking thing,
the Easy Bake Oven.
He wanted the Easy Bake Oven.
Oh yeah.
So I'm writing you this letter to tell you what I would like for Christmas. Can I please have a mini bake oven? Sincerely, Nicholas Yulson, 29 Meadowlark Lane.
And so when he started saying that, I was like, he didn't. It was flipped.
Yeah.
He got the Castle Grayskull and the Transformers that he wanted. And I was like, that's a really funny joke. Like that's good.
Yeah.
It's just like unnecessarily vulgar. Everyone is like every side character. It is like they're cartoonishly vulgar.
I think
it
that's
kinda
to
reminded me-
justify the cartoonishness needs to be there to justify the killings.
well, they live in hell.
Yes.
They live in hell after all.
If you're doing that much gratuitous violence, you need to justify it some way. So having all these characters be like these
That old lady
abominable-
just comes in. She is saying the F word in every line, and she calls the girl
so
a whore
funny.
for no reason.
Yes.
What a fucking whore.
She looks at her like, you're a
Whore.
whore.
What's in the special?
What the hell is in the holiday hoagie?
Turkey, cranberry stuffing, mayo.
What? Slow down.
What?
That'll be $3.75. What the fuck? Senior discount?
That's with the
Oh
senior
wait, would you
discount.
rather be $3.50? Yes, that sounds better.
That's a roast beef sandwich. That's $4.75.
That's with the senior discount.
Yes, it is.
What a hustle.
Did $4.50 make you any happier?
When she's doing the money thing, I don't know if you noticed it, she takes out her coin purse because it's 25% cheaper. She dumps it out and then she takes a single quarter out of that pile. She had the exact change in her coin purse and she specifically took back a single quarter so she could save it. It's such a minor little thing.
Yeah, it's just a little thing.
Thank you, and go fuck yourself.
Just to open into a recommendation, I would definitely recommend it. It's a good holiday horror movie.
Yeah.
If you're into tongue-in-cheek.
It's very stupid. Like there's don't think about it too much. Like it's
silly.
Stupid.
It's dumb.
And it's like, some of the silliness, like I think there's a lot of silliness in there that could be unintentional, but because there's so much intentional corniness, it just kind of all that's like thrown in together. We're just kind of like, yeah, you forget pretty much every stupid thing that's in there.
Yeah.
Because of that. It is
To
an
even
hour
some of the lesser stuff.
in like 20 minutes at
It
most.
flies
It flies
by.
by. I want every movie to be like that.
Yes.
It's the perfect
When I'm
month.
when I'm
It's the perfect
suffering.
time.
It's
there's
got
there's nothing to
criminally
know.
low score on IMDb too.
Hey,
Like
yeah.
it's not high.
It's lower than the Christmas Tapes.
Because I
That
bet
is
you like just
ridiculous.
nobody's
Christmas
seen
Tapes
it.
has a 6.
Just like a few people that saw it when it came out were like, that was stupid and I don't like it, and those are the people that reviewed it.
And then nobody saw it since. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like.
Well, I think part of it is just a straight up comedy for most of the movie. Like I don't even know if I'd call it a horror movie as much as I'd just call it a comedy.
Yeah, it's a
with
slasher
like
comedy.
horror. Yeah, with a slasher comedy. But like at no point does it try to be scary or horrific. It is way more in the camp of comedy. And if you're not going in for something that's like bloody, campy kind of fun like that, then you're probably, because I could see people not liking it for that reason.
If you're looking for a horror movie,
Or if you don't like that specific type of humor, then you might not find it.
some people don't
but-
want camper or corniness
Well,
in their
but
movies.
the best thing about this movie is within the first 5 minutes, you're going to know if you like the movie or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
It gives you
that first scene.
It's a
It
hint.
gives you a litmus test.
Yes.
If you watch that first season, you're like, okay and you're not into it, then you're just not gonna be into
You're
it.
just not gonna like it.
So just turn it off.
Don't bother. But if that first scene makes you laugh, there's a very high chance you'll like the rest of the movie.
He kicks that dog across the.
That's the
fucking-
first kill in the movie is the dog.
He kicks the dog and it goes into a fan and then flies across the room. It's like
And
in
hits
most
the chimney.
in most slashers, you know, if the killer kills a dog, it's to really solidify that this guy is like a heartless monster. Like
And usually it's
that's-
off screen. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
where's the dog?
Yeah.
Because they can't show it. It's too
they can't show it. It's too scary. But it's
The
the
first
first
thing he does-
kill, and
He
it's
busts out.
so fucking funny because and even the dog. They make every character that they kill for the most part annoying enough to where you want them to die, including the dog, because the dog is like barking and being this annoying little like ankle biter dog, and you're like, gosh, shut up. And then Santa just.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a sequel setup or what, but there's a shot where Santa's looking at the book, and there's two other, like there's a picture, and it's three Santas, and there's a red one, a green one, and a blue one.
I'm
Is
not
that
remembering
supposed
that
to be
shot.
set up?
I remember that shot.
Because they probably wanted a sequel, dude.
And I'm so angry that nobody is talking about where is Santa's Sleigh Part
Santa
2?
Sleigh 2.
Where is it?
No one saw it. We're actually the
saw it.
first to see it.
I will pay that man who directed it to make another one.
That man is already making money.
Yeah, that was Christopher Nolan.
That was his first movie, dude.
But Keegan, obviously, you would probably recommend it, but do you have any?
I really loved all the side characters. I really loved Bill Goldberg. His performance,
Yep.
it
Wonderful.
really just drives the movie forward. There weren't any real wasted scenes. Every scene pretty much had something happening, something that
Yeah.
you were engaged with, which is
Great pacing. Hour and 20 minutes.
The movie knows when you're getting bored too.
Yeah.
The thing that makes that scene where the kids are opening the presents so great is it happens right at the time where you as the audience are kind of like, it's been a while since something like wacky has happened. And then it cuts to this family that you've never seen before just opening presents, and the greatest scene in the entire film happens.
Can we open our motherfucking presents?
Can't wait to see the shit we got. Can we open our motherfucking presents now?
Of course.
Go ahead, kid. Let's see what Santa got you.
this is the one I always think about when I think of this movie. Is when the pastor is giving the eulogy.
That is
Oh,
hilarious.
that is hilarious.
That
was-
is such a funny
And
joke.
finally, a moment of silence for the victims of that tragic fire that took place last night at the community eyesore, Gold Diggers, the House of Heathens.
That was great.
That scene, the first time I watched it, I was dying laughing because I just was not expecting it. And even the second time through, I'm like, this is such a good joke.
So pray with me, if you will, for the salvation of Crystal Candy, Sierra Rains, Dixie Wrecked, Tess Tickler.
It's so
That is
funny.
like in itself like an SNL bit. Like
Yeah.
that's like the bit is a strip club burnt down and this is their
And this,
eulogy.
the eulogy, and the pastor is barely getting by trying to do it.
And he's so emotional the whole time.
and he's just using the stage themes.
He just uses the stage names, which is so great. I do recommend it to anyone whose sense of humor is aligned with it, for sure.
If you like Nacho Libre, you will love this movie.
Honestly, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's close. In terms of our stuff, if you like anything we make, you'll probably like it.
Yeah.
It's very much up our alley in terms of sense of humor. I would say I did have one flaw with it that I can talk about without spoilers. But basically, I had an issue with the ending. In that the issue is the ending. That's the whole issue. I think by the time we were getting to the ending, I was like, oh, this is gonna be so sweet. They're gonna blow him the fuck up or something. It's gonna be spectacular.
Yeah.
It's the payoff for all of it. And there's they fight him for like the entire last 30 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so that's all justified and that's all fine. I was fine with the pacing of all of it up until the very ending when I realized that there wasn't gonna be anything else. And then they're like, oh, and then they shot him out of the sky. Like there's no.
They didn't even shoot him out of the sky.
They
just
shot.
his
Yeah, they
buffalo.
shot.
Yeah, I'd agree. The ending is a little like
It is.
It kind of seemed like they didn't know exactly what they wanted, so they kind of did a little bit of everything.
Like they clearly what they were kind of going for, like structure wise, is like Halloween. it's like, oh, and then you fight him for like the last 30 minutes of the movie, and you're running and you're chasing and you're confronting for the last 30 minutes, and then finally at the end you get him, but you really don't get him, and then it's over. They're clearly, that's kind of what they were going for, but where you would normally do in that situation though is you would kind of still build up that final climactic defeat moment, so you think this is it. This has to be it. When he falls, you're like, immediately you kind of don't believe it because it was so anticlimactic as it was that you're like, no, I don't buy that. And then you find out it's the priest guy. You're like, yeah, of course it wasn't going to be him. You know, it's so like to me, it left me wanting like so much more. And I was like, oh, if we had an ending as good as that beginning, this would be like a near perfect movie for me. Like this would be up there.
I agree with you. The ending was definitely a bit weak.
And the pacing slowly started to like kind of get to a crawl too, getting into that last third. And I was like, this is good stuff, but it's not like bombastic good stuff like we were going before, like boom, 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 boom.
I thought it'd be better if it was just like they just had the ending be the
dad's club.
Well, no, well that was fine. It's just like I thought the focal point was going to be them doing the what is that called? What is
no,
it's not. What is that called? You guys know what I'm talking about? On ice?
Rocks on ice.
I'm googling it.
Yeah,
it was in the first Digimon World game.
Oh, now I know what it is.
My problem with it is that the rules didn't seem to be very consistent. It was
curling.
Like, curling. If your rock goes in, then you lose or whatever.
Well, that's how curling works.
Right, but my issue isn't with the rules of the game, it's with the rules of what happens to the loser, because they drop the Santa rock into the hole, and like I'm thinking, oh, this is like a magical binding thing, like once he drops this in.
Once you do it, it's a deal, yeah.
Yeah, then like, you know, it's gonna suck him in, and maybe he gets sucked in and he has to go back to hell or something like that. Or something happens where it's like, oh no, he has to deliver presents for the rest of time now. And like that was going to be the ending, but I just felt like the ending was way more ambiguous than that, and I was like, I wanted it to be like, okay, these are the rules they set up.
This is it,
and then this is it. But it feels like they set these
or these are the rules, and then they fail. Like you can do that
exactly.
too.
Yeah, but it feels like they set these rules up, they win, and then he just like there's a cliffhanger ending where he's still out
they just
there.
go eh.
Yeah,
and he's still out there.
And then they blow up his bison, which they keep calling a reindeer.
It's like, that is a buffalo.
Yeah,
it flies, dude.
Every single time they called it a reindeer, I had to do a double. I was like, am I looking at the wrong animal on screen? Is there something behind the bison?
And I love how there's just literally one. Like that is pulling his.
And it has a red nose.
And
I didn't even.
I didn't notice that.
It has a glowing red nose.
Oh, I didn't even
That's
notice
Rudolph,
that.
dude.
But I guess that makes sense because like I saw it in like the wider shots, but I didn't realize it was the nose.
Yeah,
that's funny. That was my only issue. Like that kept it from being great to me.
Yeah.
But I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So, Alec, do you recommend it?
Hard, yes. This movie is so easy for me to recommend. I feel like this is one of those movies that's just right up our alley. I loved every second of it. Even though I do completely agree with what Kevin said, I think the ending was a little weaker than it could have been. That did like the things that I went in for the movie and like was enjoying about it were all working for most of the movie. Some good kills, fun times, and almost every single character in this movie is entertaining, even if they're not like the best actor. Because like the kid is not a great actor.
The main character.
The main kid.
Yeah,
he's not great
the
at all.
two mains are not good,
but still entertaining the entire.
The main guy was the worst, but still the fact that he was the worst and it was still completely like followable.
And like if you actually like pay it, like the plot is so goofy, but it's so fun. The
like,
fact
it's just
that
like you buy because you're just like, yeah, an old book says that this is what it is.
I just can't believe that Santa's coming after us. What the hell? He's been coming after him for like 40 minutes.
Trapped in a closet on Christmas with Santa trying to murder us. How fucked up is that?
What's your language, Nikki?
It doesn't.
And he still cannot believe.
Yeah, I know. He keeps like stopping. Like it's like you should still be running. He was like 5 feet from you. He's like, and you stopped and said,
I cannot believe Santa is chasing us.
Santa's
that
trying
is crazy.
Santa Claus.
Who would have thought?
It doesn't have enough time in the movie to set up anything that much. They're just gonna like, here are the rules. Here's what's happening.
It's only an hour.
And then here you go. That's why the movie's happening.
It is an hour and 18. It is a 78.
When you don't give your audience time to second guess things, they can't second guess things. Like you have no time to think about what's happening.
Also, when you're just being goofy and you're just like, clearly the point of this movie isn't to be like this enriching tale, like an adventure. It's just like this is an
You're not
excuse
learning
for
anything
Santa
new about life.
For this wrestler to kill people. Like that's all it is.
Dude, the entire strip club scene.
It's amazing.
He sprays down the stripper pole, and I'm like, "You're grossed out by that? Out of everything you've done?"
You're grossed out by
the
that.
kill where he kicks the strip pole up into the light beam, so
Oh, that was
electrocutes
sweet.
The guy. It's so fucking.
That was
good.
sweet. He just
He kills the bouncer.
Yeah.
And then immediately the other bouncer takes an axe and a
Axe and
pickaxe
a-
off the
yeah.
wall,
Oh, yeah.
tosses it to a client, and the client and him immediately go to kill Santa Claus.
Yes.
when the true romance guy, who's the Sammy shop owner.
Are you about to say his dying line?
Yes. When he gets that, which is already that whole scene of him getting attacked and killed is an awesome scene. He just spears through the glass and he stabs him with the.
With a menorah.
He stabs him with the. I lost it.
What's that thing called?
Menorah.
I know.
Menorah.
I know. Kevin was dodging it.
He-
So I wanted to see what.
Well, he can save me. And he gets stabbed with it. I was like, oh, this is already great. And I'm just like, oh, he's dead. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing more to extrapolate from this. And then when he comes back and sees what happens, he's alive. He can talk.
He can talk. With
The hole
with-
through the middle of his throat,
Yes.
hitting him to the wall, so through his spine.
Yeah, it's literally so hard that it's pinned him.
And he's like,
The kid's trying to take it out, and you're like, "Dude, don't take it
don't-
out."
don't take it out.
That's the only thing keeping him alive right now.
And he just, what happened? Santa Claus is real.
Nicholas, there is a Santa Claus.
I thought you people didn't even believe in him. No!
I've already said I recommend it. I only have one more point to make of it. This isn't a flaw, because when I was watching, I was like, in any other movie, this would be a flaw, but it's more of a feature in this movie. I think it's so funny that the angel guy, his grandpa, like the setup is Santa Claus has been gone for 1,000 years, and he knows that. And he had a literal 1,000 years to prepare for Santa returning, and all he did was make a bunker that Santa tore through immediately and get jet ski things.
Now, fire up these bad babies and let's get out of here.
And he had a nutcracker.
He had literally a
that
1,000
shoots
years.
a nut.
Yeah, he had a nutcracker that shoots 1,000 years, and that's all he came up with.
1,000.
And I was just like, this guy's a moron. He deserves to die.
That's all he got? That's all you got?
He must, he had to procrastinate the entire time until about a year before. He's like, oh shoot, that's coming up. I thought that was in 1,000 years. That went by.
That went by real fast.
Yeah, it's kind of like if in Halloween 2018, if Laurie's entire plan was just like a getaway car in the back of her house.
No, it'd be like if Laurie Strode did Home Alone to set up her defenses, where she's like, I have a paint can on a string.
Yeah.
And as soon as Michael Myers walks through that door, that paint can's gonna fly and hit him.
Why did she still live in Haddonfield?
Because
they
it's plot.
celebrate Halloween.
To wait for him, dude. To wait for him.
Because people know Michael Myers, and they know Haddonfield, and they know Laurie Strode.
That is what happens in the movie. That's also a bad example.
No, well,
for what you were
that's
trying to
actually
say.
perfect to my point where I'm like,
It's a good
it would be
example and a bad
It'd be a
example.
flaw in a different movie, and this movie is just funny to me.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't even think of that.
That was what I was thinking when he gets to the bunker and Santa Claus is already there, and I'm like, he's already there.
He knows. He finds the bunker
was he
immediately and he
hoping he
rips
just
a hole
wouldn't
in
find
it.
I would even say that this movie has another thing over
The
Halloween
map didn't
2018.
even cover it. He
He
found it immediately. The map didn't cover the door.
He knows that was going to happen though, because he even says this wasn't meant to withstand Santa Claus.
And then
It
his
was just
backup plan was the ski
snowmobiles.
thing.
Yeah.
Which one of them
That
is
is
dead?
all he had. And then the two kids were like, I guess we'll go to the school. If I was reading that book, I was like, he had 1,000 years to come up with this? He couldn't build
He had
armor?
he had 1,000 years.
1,000 years to come up with.
At least.
And that's all he came up with.
I don't really have anything else to add.
Spooky of the week over. And you know what? Out of 4 movies, this is the only actual Christmas movie, I would say.
Full blown.
This is a
We're doing that.
Well, like I said, we're ramping up. We're ramping up.
This is 100% all much Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am so happy this was
the final
one.
Thank you for watching Spooky of the Week. It was a good season. Much
I
better
hope-
theme than last year.
Who is picking the theme next year?
Well, it's gonna be
one
you
of
or
us.
Alec.
One of us.
One of us.
Should be you, theoretically. Well, I mean, if we're going in the order that we kind of went through this month, you know what I mean?
I have to come up with a theme next year. What will I do?
Found footage.
I hate Halloween.
The theme will be anything but found footage. The theme.
Yeah, you could just do good movies, and you would completely bar any found footage films.
I like if I say it has to. Be
I
a
will
good
literally
movie,
bring
yes. It's not. If I say it's a bad movie, then you
It's
have to
barred.
give me a different one.
It's barred, yeah.
It's like, sorry, this is a new review. We got to do something else.
Yeah. Wow, and that was a good season of Spooky of the Week. We'll see you guys next time.
How do we close this out, Kevin?
There's only one way.